want to start with Steve Bannon. You know him. He runs Breitbart. He's very hard to the right. And now he says in a new book that the president's son, Jared Kushner, and his actions were treasonous in this meeting with Russians at Trump Tower. That meeting has become infamous. Trump has now responded to Bannon's criticisms. He says that when Bannon was fired, not only did he lose his job, he lost his mind. First, let me ask you about what Bannon said, that meeting being treasonous. Do you agree with Steve Bannon?
Well, first of all, let's put it into perspective. The book is written by Michael Wolff. It'll be out next week. Bannon is quoted in the book. Bannon didn't write the book. Steve is a guy who shoots from the hip. He's a lot like Donald Trump in that regard. They say stuff all the time that may or may not be in perspective. So my opinion about the meeting, and I have a limited knowledge of it, obviously wasn't there, and I'm depending on reports, but I think it's like the Jimmy Breslin book, The Gang That Couldn't Shoot Straight. So Donald Trump Jr. takes a meeting with some Russian people. He's not really sure who they are. He goes up in the Trump Tower and they sit there because he thinks he's going to get dirt on Hillary Clinton. There is no dirt. The meeting lasts 20 minutes and everybody leaves. Is this a big felony? Not to me. As an American citizen, do I care? Not really. Every campaign does opposition research. Somebody says, hey, I have something on your opponent. You know, is it smart that Donald Trump Jr. went there without an attorney? No. And that's the point that Steve Bannon makes, and it's a good point. If you're going to meet with anybody, you don't really know who they are, bring an attorney. There's plenty of them in the campaign. Yeah. Have somebody sit there and document what's being said. Because today, accusations are headlines, headlines are convictions. That's the way it works today. So Bannon has a point that the meeting was dumb, but is it a felony or something like that? Not that I can see.
But perhaps not treasonous, and you would say that this was perhaps the inexperience of Donald Trump Jr. working on this campaign that allowed him to take this meeting, which he probably shouldn't have taken. But the bigger issue here, I think, is this ongoing feud, or this feud that seemed to boil over between Bannon and Trump. Bannon, you know, no matter what Trump says in that statement, he did help deliver Trump a lot of his base, and he was, you know, you could argue that. But what do you think will become of this public feud between Trump and Bannon?
I have no idea. I know Donald Trump very well. I don't know Steve Bannon. I met him once briefly. I think that Bannon at one point thought that Trump was going to be a weapon. That's the best word, a weapon against what Bannon sees as a declining country. That's turned out to be so. Donald Trump is basically changing the presidential culture. But Steve Bannon, because of his leaks and things like that, and the president has a point, Steve Bannon did leak while he was in the White House. And because of all that, they had to move Bannon out when General Kelly, the new chief of staff, came in. So what's going to come of this? I think just sniping back and forth. I don't see it a bigger story than that. It's, you know, a headliner today, but there's a lot more important things going on than Steve Bannon versus Donald Trump.